something intriguing has been stirring behind the scenes at Newcastle United. You know that feeling when something big is about to happen, but no one is talking about it out loud? That's exactly the kind of atmosphere surrounding St. James' Park in recent days. Silent press conferences, exchanged glances between executives, and a growing sense of anticipation in the air. It all points to a move that could reshape Newcastle's defensive line before a ball is even kicked next season. And we're not talking about simple speculation here. As the club prepares to face Europe's elite once again with a return to the Champions League group stage on the horizon, Eddie Howe and his team are focused on much more than just tactics and training sessions. There's a clear strategic movement happening, involving names that haven't been widely reported by the British media yet, but are already catching the attention of those watching European football closely. The goal isn't to just sign big names, it's to find the right players to fill specific gaps. And that takes bold decisions. By the way, if you're enjoying the content on this channel and don't want to miss a single update from behind the scenes, now's the perfect time to hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel grow and guarantees that you're always ahead of the game when it comes to the hottest Newcastle stories. And don't forget to drop a like, because what we're about to reveal today could be a game changer for our backline. Now, back to the core of the story. Despite being in a stronger financial position than many Premier League rivals, Newcastle can't spend freely. The PSR profitability and sustainability rules still require careful planning. Financial expert Kieran Maguire recently explained why clubs like ours face tougher limitations than giants like City or Chelsea. According to him, some teams benefited from the old rules, while clubs like Newcastle now have to be more strategic and patient, even as they aim to climb higher in both domestic and European football. But now it's time to talk about the name that's been moving the backstage conversations at St. James' Park. According to Africa Foot, Newcastle United has officially opened talks to sign French defender Nordi Mukiele from Paris Saint-Germain. The initial offer is reported to be around £12.7 million, a figure seen as a bargain considering the player's potential and current situation. Mukiele, 27, is a versatile defender who can play both as a centre-back and a right-back, and recently had a solid season on loan at Bayer Leverkusen in the Bundesliga. The decision to go after Mukiele wasn't random. Eddie Howe has made it clear both in interviews and through his actions that he values tactical intelligence and adaptability, and that's exactly what Mukiele brings. At Leverkusen, he won 80% of his tackles and showed impressive game reading, crucial traits for a defensive system that demands flexibility. He also has experience at top clubs and has played in high-pressure situations, which adds immense value to a squad preparing for the Champions League. Of course, these decisions are never simple. Even with a financially sound and growing project, Newcastle faces tough competition. Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, Besiktas, Aston Villa, Everton, and even Eintracht Frankfurt are all reportedly monitoring Mukiele's situation. However, sources close to the player indicate that he's open to a return to the Premier League, especially at a club like Newcastle, with ambitious plans and upward momentum. Another factor to consider is PSG's stance. The French club no longer sees Mukiele as a long-term option and is willing to let him go permanently, particularly after his loan spell at Leverkusen. His current weekly wages are around £113,000, a potential stumbling block for some clubs, but something Newcastle could manage, especially if certain players leave or if wage adjustments are made to stay within PSR limits. Mukiele's potential arrival would also fit perfectly into the club's wider summer plan to strengthen key areas and build a deeper, more versatile squad. With the Champions League ahead, it's not enough to have 11 solid starters. You need a well-rounded group that can rotate across competitions and cope with the long, demanding season. And in that context, the Frenchman's versatility could be exactly what Howe needs to navigate the months ahead. Oh, and if you're enjoying this story and want to stay on top of every step of this potential transfer, don't forget to turn on your notifications. That way, you'll be the first to know whenever we post an update on Mukiele or any other name on Newcastle's radar. This summer window promises fireworks, and we'll cover it all here, with insight, backstage info, and the passion only true fans bring. It's also worth noting that Mukiele isn't the only target. As mentioned earlier in the video, Porto striker Samu Agahawa is also being monitored closely, with a release clause of £82.5 million. Romus Evanedica is another defensive option being linked. It's clear that Howe's plan isn't based on just one signing, but rather a broader tactical rebuild, especially in defense, which was a weak point last season. In the midst of all this, one thing is clear: Newcastle is looking for balance. Experienced names with the technical and mental strength to immediately raise the team's competitiveness. Mukiele fits that profile, and more importantly, he represents a smart market opportunity. If Newcastle can close this deal for under £13 million, it could prove to be one of the shrewdest moves of the summer, especially considering the current inflation in defender valuations. Even with other clubs showing interest, Newcastle might just have the upper hand thanks to its sporting project, competing seriously in the Premier League, aiming for European qualification, and returning to the Champions League all carries serious weight for players like Mukiele, who who are seeking to remain relevant in top-tier football. Add to that the club's facilities, fan base, and clear vision, and it's a very attractive package. For Magpies supporters, this kind of news keeps the dream alive, the dream of seeing a stronger, more competitive Newcastle next season. And while nothing has been confirmed just yet, the very fact that Mukiele's name is on the table shows the level of ambition Newcastle is carrying into this summer window. If you believe in this project and want to see this kind of content gain more reach, share this video with fellow fans and drop your thoughts in the comments. Would you like to see Mukiele in black and white? The source of this report, as mentioned earlier, is Africa Foot, a portal that closely tracks players of French and African origin across Europe's top leagues. They report that negotiations are still in the early stages, but that Newcastle has made a formal approach. The next step would involve talks with the players' representatives and sorting out salary and contract details. We'll be following it closely and keeping you updated right here. And that wraps up another video filled with behind-the-scenes scoops, red-hot rumors, and most importantly, the passion that drives this incredible club, Newcastle United. Whether or not Mukiele joins, the club is moving, and it's moving forward. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time to become part of this growing community. Stick with us, because this season promises drama, excitement, and unforgettable moments, and we'll be here to tell the whole story. See you next time, Toon Army.